Losing weight. Whenever someone thinks about diabetes, they think sugar problem. What if I tell you diabetes is a hormone problem?
People are doing consciously or unconsciously in their life. They don't even know, and for that, that's the biggest contributor to this particular thing, diabetes.
The mistake people do is, let's give this person juice, actually making the situation worse.
So how do I come to know that I have this condition?
When the glucose is high.
So what kind of nutrition should you take if you have diabetes or pre-diabetes?
It's not just sugar. You correctly mentioned the word carbohydrates. One medium apple, 15 grams of carb. One slice of bread, 15 grams.
What's the portion of carbs, protein, fiber should be there ideally in a plate?
So carbs are not essential. The blockbuster drugs called Ozempic, they came into the market as diabetes drugs. They are hormone manipulating drugs, are also being used as weight loss drugs.
Is it safe?
Getting on this drug was life-changing for me. In my book, I talk about a lifestyle car. It has 4 wheels. Number 1, nutrition. 2, sleep. So stress is 3rd. 4th is exercise.
ऐसे कंपार्टमेंट में इंस्टॉलमेंट में स्लीप लेंगे और पूरा कर लें, that counts, or you have to have a good 7-8 hours of sleep at a stretch.
If you change something right now, you may have a different behavior tomorrow. The high glucose that is in the system is coming from where? Fat burn that will happen at 36 hours fasting. The way diabetes can progress, the nerves can become numb. How we know that people sometimes lose their feet, they have amputations.
Women are more likely to have diabetes because we have more hormonal issues.
No, that's not true.
Welcome back to another episode of Raw Reflection. Today we are talking about something that a lot of us are affected, but often we don't talk much about it or kind of ignore it. I'm talking about hormonal health and diabetes. So that's why we have a very experienced doctor with us, Dr. Roshni Sanghavi. She is a very experienced endocrinologist. She has treated patients for diabetes and hormonal imbalance. Not only that, she has also reversed her own pre-diabetes. So let's welcome her. Welcome, doctor.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure having you, doctor.
It is so good to have you here, and we are very, very excited to talk about this topic and go deep into it. We also personally don't have much knowledge about it, but that's why we are more excited to learn a lot about it. But before we go deep and talk more about diabetes, hormonal health and everything, if I am a 10-year-old and if I don't know anything about diabetes, I'm sure all of us know, but still, if there is someone in the audience and diabetes is something that he or she is not aware of, clinically or medically, how do you explain it?
Sure. So first of all, thanks for bringing up this conversation. Even though you don't have it in the house or in your direct life, you're asking, right? To me, that's my prayer being answered, is preventive approach. Let's learn before it happens rather than reacting that, oh my God, I have diabetes, now what? You would like to know how to prevent it from even coming in the first place. So let's start with the fact that whenever someone thinks about diabetes, they think sugar problem. They think shakkar ki bimari hai.
Correct.
But I'm here as a hormone doctor. What if I tell you diabetes is a hormone problem?
Oh.
We normally think of hormones when we say that there is in a woman, there is her female cycle, or if someone has too much weight gain, they think of, oh, it's hormones, or menopause, they think of hormones, or skin health, you think of hormonal acne.
Correct.
But diabetes
Yeah.
is a fundamentally hormone problem. And the same way for a heart attack, the most qualified doctor is a cardiologist. The same way for diabetes, the most qualified doctor is an endocrinologist.
Okay.
It is the highest training we take. So after doing MBBS, you may see someone who is a diabetologist, that's a 1-year course. You may see someone who is an MBBS who can do a 1-year course and become a diabetologist. Okay. So that would be a diploma holding person. We have gone through MD medicine, which is 3 years of training, and then 2 more years training in the hormones, specifically diabetes, hormones, metabolism. Mm-hmm. Now, any guesses which is the hormone which is involved in diabetes?
Insulin?
Yes.
Insulin, yeah.
Insulin.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, insulin, when you talk to a 10-year-old, do you know about insulin? Only if some patient in the house had diabetes and they saw some elderly person who was taking insulin injections, that's when the young generation knows about insulin. But that's not the only time insulin is relevant. You, me, everybody in this room today is already producing insulin. We all have it. It's only when it stops working properly or your body stops making it, that's when you get diabetes.
So insulin, we already have it in our body. So insulin is a glucose?
So insulin's one of the big jobs that insulin does is keep normal glucose. That's one of the jobs.
Okay.
It's a master hormone. It takes care of so much of our metabolism.
Okay.
Again, when people are complaining of weight gain, they'll say, oh, my metabolism has gone slow. What is metabolism? Metabolism is everything that the living body is doing, whether it is eating food, converting it into energy, burning and breaking down energy, repairing old tissues, building new tissues. All of those processes are called metabolism.
So how do I come to know that I have this condition?
Well, let's give a very unrelated example. You could say, how does India know it's safe? You could say, we know it's safe because nobody's throwing a bomb on us.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Yeah.
But if you wait till the time the bomb comes, you're very late. Right? So how do you know that you might be at risk of diabetes or that you have it? You could say, oh, when the glucose is high.
Okay.
But that's very late.
So we term glucose as sugar also. Mera sugar high hai and all that.
Yes.
Like in India.
Yes, we say that. So I keep on saying glucose because technically the sugar that we put in our tea and coffee, that is sucrose, and glucose is a very different sugar than what you put table sugar. That's 2 molecules. Glucose is a single molecule. So we as doctors, we like to be very specific. You can as a slang say fasting sugar, fasting glucose, but we really mean glucose.
So, doctor, you explained it so well. Insulin is the hormone that basically the hormone responsible to manage or take care of the glucose in the body. My first experience with diabetes, the word diabetes, is when my father got diagnosed with it, and there was a silence in the family, like some life-threatening thing has happened to my father. And that's what got into me that diabetes is not good, because people started whispering, "Suna, diabetes ho gaya hai, papa ko." So how it was, this knowledge is transferred to us when we were kids, like it's a non-curable disease, and this guy has to live with it for throughout the time he is alive. Now, there are good things that happened with my father because of diabetes. He is another example, like how he managed and reversed his diabetes. But now coming back to the part, like how he got it, it's already too late. What he has done, I'll share it with you. But from your experience, a bomb गिर गया है, अब late हो गया है उसको पता करना है. What is the one thing, or out of the many things that you see, is the most common thing that people are doing consciously or unconsciously in their life that they don't even know, and for that's the biggest contributor to this particular thing, diabetes?
Yeah, for sure. So let's just give your audience a little bit more hope, right? Like what you were describing your dad's experience when you were also a young person. We don't want anybody going forward from your audience going forward to have that hopelessness, okay? The whole idea is, if we know that I have got type 2 diabetes, I've just found out, let it be a wake-up call.
Can I interrupt here before we go ahead? You said type 2. So are there different types?
Yes, thank you for catching that. So if you remember, I was saying that sugar problem, okay? Basically, it's an insulin problem first.
Okay.
It's like saying ki I have fever, but do you have fever from malaria or typhoid or hepatitis? Treatment is going to be different. Similarly, do you have high sugar because you have insulin but it's not working properly, or your body stopped making insulin?
So 2 conditions: hormone is there but not working properly, or hormone is completely gone.
Correct.
So we need to figure that out first.
Yes, we need to figure that out because the treatment plan is completely different. So when the body has stopped making insulin, that's called type 1 diabetes.
Stopped.
Stopped making
Like
insulin.
it's like malfunction of the body?
It's a damage or an inflammation, injury to the pancreas.
Okay.
And the pancreas, which is the organ that secretes insulin naturally, has been damaged, and we don't have any way of getting that insulin function back. So this person needs to be given insulin to stay alive. You might have seen in younger populations, this is the kind of diabetes in children. We used to call it pediatric or juvenile diabetes, but now we call it type 1 diabetes. This person needs to be given insulin to stay alive.
Like in what form? Medicines or injections?
No, they need it through the injections. They're working on oral insulin, inhaled insulin, it's not yet reached at a mass level. So for the general audience today, it's still injected insulin.
So this type 1 diabetes, is it the pancreas which stopped producing insulin, which is responsible to manage the glucose in the body? Now pancreas has stopped working. Is it like when they'll come to know, is it they've gone through something, or just like one day it just happened, like it stopped working?
That's a great question. So typically what happens is you'll see that this person has started to lose weight. They're very thirsty. They're passing a lot of urine.
Okay.
And they're low on energy. They're tired. The mistake people do is, let's give this person juice.
Yes.
Because that's pure sugar. They don't know a lot of times, right? They're like, kuch nahi kha raha hai, kuch to de do, juice pila do. And actually making the situation worse, and losing weight. And finally, when you do the urine test, you'll see it, or when you do the blood test, you'll see it. There's very high sugar, very high glucose. So that's how.
What's the time frame, doc? Like when they'll come to know till the time they reach out and get this diagnosis that now they've got it?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. It's about, generally you'll say weeks to months, short, very short. Type 1 diabetes, from the time that your pancreas is losing function, when you ask the person, by the time they come to hospital, they're quite sick. And when the doctor asks them, when did you start noticing something is wrong? Usually they'll give you a weeks to a month time frame.
And like, is it curable? As you said that you have to take insulin throughout life. So that is the only cure?
Well, that's the only treatment. And as of now, still research is happening in the West, and we're waiting for a cure. As of today, we don't have a cure. So either through injections or at least the now newer technology, the most modern technology that people are able to use is to have a pump, insulin pump. Technology has gone so far ahead that it's almost, they're calling it an artificial pancreas, which is, it's a closed loop machine where the machine is detecting your own glucose and giving insulin as per the doctor's programming. We have to program that with each patient. It will give the insulin as if the natural pancreas would have given, and keep normal glucose. If the insulin dose is too high and the blood sugar is starting to fall, it'll stop giving so much insulin, prevent the low glucose. When the sugar starts to rise again, it'll again release insulin. So very intelligent technology has really been a game changer to give people back some quality of life.
So is it fair to say that this type of diabetes is more dangerous than the type 2?
It can be dangerous. On a day-to-day basis, somebody with type 1 diabetes deserves to have a fully healthy, normal life. But I would put some, fine print there is, yes, they do end up checking their glucose levels much more. They end up having to think about what they eat every time, because whatever carbohydrates they eat, they have to manage the insulin dose for that.
Okay.
If they don't have access to insulin, or the insulin supply goes bad in the extreme heat or extreme cold, or the insulin delivery gets affected where it's going through a tube but the tube got pinched, or the cannula came out, or the delivery system came out from the skin, got bumped or pulled, dangerous situation that the glucose will start to rise, and within hours they'll start to feel quite sick.
Oh God.
So
Scary.
they have to
It
be,
can be scary.
They
It
have
can
to
be
be
scary.
really on glucose monitoring device on a very regular basis. That's a type 1, and a month's time is also like by the time they figure it out, it's also quite late time period.
That's an interesting question, that should we consider this to be a delay in treatment causes any harm in our long-term outcome? That's quite a debatable space, but usually they end up coming, they're not delaying, because they start feeling so unwell. So it's very different than somebody with type 2 diabetes that can walk around for years.
Before we go on to the type 2 diabetes, I have one more question. The youngest patient you saw in the type 1 diabetes, how young?
Okay, yeah, so I'm qualified to treat adults. So my population starts 18 and up. But when I talk to them, some of them, the youngest one that I know, she's gotten the diagnosis when she was 5, and she's 50 plus today. So she's lived 45 beautiful years, still living a great life even now. She's athletic, karate black belt.
Oh.
So, very long life that she's managed from old insulin technology to now managing quite well and
So
having a good
mindset
life.
does play a very important role, and
Support,
lifestyle.
yeah, I think access to good healthcare, access to good teams, the resources to get on technology like a pump. It's not a small price that it costs, but even people who are managing on injections, they need someone well qualified who knows the proper science. I've seen a lot of cases where the dosing of insulin and the lifestyle of the person is not matching well. So their quality of life really gets affected because the level of intelligence is शुगर बढ़ गया तो ज़्यादा इंसुलिन लो, शुगर घट गया तो इंसुलिन कम करो. And my reaction to that is, I'm sorry, but even your watchman can say this much, that if it's high, take more, and if it's less, take less.
Right
Correct.
guidance is
You
of
need a
utmost
technical
importance.
expert to
Yeah.
make it better, yeah.
Okay, so type 2 now, which like most of us have it. So let's understand that, like what happens in that case? What happens to insulin in that case?
Right. So 95+% of the people that I see in my practice or that you would know in your life who have diabetes, they have type 2 diabetes. That is the much more common one. I wouldn't say it's safer or more dangerous or anything like that. Both of them are dangerous because the high glucose is toxic to the body no matter what. In one sense, the people with type 1 get caught early. They come with quick symptoms and they get onto treatment fast. Type 2 can go on silently for a long time because insulin is there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Insulin is trying, but it's falling short. It's not able to cope up with the lifestyle that it's being.
And why is that? I mean, why does it fall short?
Right. So, like the example which you shared about when your father was told, it's almost like a paradox. On one hand, we say it's a lifestyle disease. That आपकी लाइफ में आप ऐसा कुछ कर रहे हैं जिससे डायबिटीज़ आया है. Then we say it's permanent. But अगर मैंने lifestyle change किया तो why should it be permanent? These two statements are disconnected. That if you're saying it's a lifestyle disease, why are you saying it's chronic, progressive, permanent? It should be something that you can take back in your hands and turn it around. So why does insulin fail in the first place? If it's there,
Yeah.
how come it's not working? This is the term called insulin resistance.
Okay.
And in your field of skin health, actually insulin resistance comes up whenever you're looking at someone with acne, PCOS, a lot of inflammatory skin, pigmentation, allergies. Insulin resistance can play a big role, gut health showing up in skin. So there are many connections now
Yeah.
which will relate to you when we talk about insulin resistance.
Yeah, that's why when we go to dermat, suppose we have acne, dermat mostly they suggest to give up sugar or caffeine or something like that. So that means my body is insulin resistant somewhere, not pre-diabetic, but it's in the verge of that or something.
Right. So again, each dermat will assess the patient, but they may see something that gives them the instinct that, okay, I need to test for insulin resistance. Maybe there is, in your audience, you may find darkening on the skin, a black patch on the back of the neck, dark patches in the armpits or in the fold of the thigh, in the skin crease. And family is scrubbing, saying, ठीक से नहाओ आप घिसते नहीं हो साबुन लगाओ बदन, right? But it's not dirt.
Okay.
It's the skin is pigmenting, especially in us Indian origin people, it gets very dark. So that instantly tells the doctor, the skin doctor, that this is insulin resistance. And they will test for it. They'll tell you reduce your refined sugar, your refined carbs. And they're trying to basically give you some easy diet changes to lower those insulin levels. Because how will you say in a scientific way what is insulin resistance? Maybe you don't have diabetes, but if you do the blood test, you'll see a high insulin level.
Doctor, you are the example. आपको you're pre-diabetic, you reversed it. I want us to both and our audience go through that particular time when you came to know, and what is the first thing that came to your mind? What was your thought process?
Yeah. First of all, my ego got badly hurt. Yeah. I was like, my degree on the wall is not protecting me from this disease which I treat every day. मुझे हो गया. I'm treating it. The table should have protected me ना. Patient तो वो side पे है. मुझे कैसे हो गया? So ego, right? Then the reality check comes that, oh my God, I was a bit sad. I was disappointed. Something's going on with my health. What's this? Because I know what is diabetes. I know how bad it can be. I have a very strong family history of diabetes, Gujarati family on both sides.
Okay.
And, they say shake, this family tree, right? So I'm like, if you shake my family tree, lots of diabetes is going to come down, right? There's lots of diabetes in my family. So I didn't want it. I did not want it. And I knew that my diet had been same, my exercise levels had been same. The one thing that had really changed in the last 2 years before this diagnosis had come up was my stress levels had gone through the roof. Much more than I had ever had in my life. We had moved back from US to India, and I was having a hard time adjusting both personally and professionally to this change. We did it, and I'm still happy now. So many years later, I'm so glad we moved and we stayed back. But it took me time to adjust. And that was the patch where all my maximum health issues had cropped up.
So stress, but stress तो अब ऐसी चीज़ है कि no matter how much you try to manage it, it's there. It's always there. Or when I was in a corporate profession, मैं हर जने को बोलता था कि देखो, everybody in life they have some kind of challenges. तुम्हें जो है वो मुझे नहीं है, मुझे जो है तुम्हें नहीं है, but it's always a part of it. How you personally dealt with it, because you reversed it. It's a choice that you have to make for yourself, and you did that, you proved it. So how you move forward there?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I actually did not think about it individually कि diabetes को reverse करना है. I was also at that time taking thyroid medicine, and वो भी मुझे लगा था कि lifelong thyroid medicine खानी पड़ेगी. I'm an endocrinologist. I was already in private practice for more than 4 years by then, and so रोज सुबह उठ के taking the thyroid medicine, and I thought वो तो है, it's part of life. I was not chasing thyroid reversal or pre-diabetes reversal. What was bothering me the most was the stress itself. I was collapsing. I was like, I cannot do this. And it had gotten to the point where I needed to get help for my mind. Now, luckily at that point, I went to one of my old friends who I've known for a long time. I had known her for more than 10 years. And I was broken, shattered in pieces. Not about the pre-diabetes, but about the stressors in my life. Ki life is not doing what I want.
Okay.
That is not behaving the way I want. This situation is not changing the way I want. It should be on my... If only they would change, I could be happy. Right? Now when I look at it, I see the trap. It's a trap.
Yeah.
Right? But when you're in it, you don't see कि हम कितने डूब रहे हैं खुद के thoughts में.
Correct.
I was fully in this victim situation. I'm the victim of my life. I'm the victim of my situation. And by grace or whatever you say, by luck, she said, you need to learn some spiritual tools, some self-management tools. And she taught me Reiki. Now, doesn't have to be Reiki. Could be anything. Whatever helps a person to get a grip on their own mind and their own thoughts.
Wow.
Because I had reached this level where I said, I'm willing to do whatever I can do to change my life now. I am tired of trying to use my effort, trying to control others, control external situation which is not in my hands. वो कर करके मैं थक गई हूँ, पक गई हूँ. It's not happening. Even though I'm so intelligent, it's not going my way. I need to change myself. And I was willing to change. My ego had been fully broken down. So I became a student.
From denial to acceptance.
Yes, the stages of grief.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. And that's what happened. And my journey of healing myself started from there. And I talk about this in my book, actually. My book, Turnaround Diabetes, which I wrote last year. It starts with a particular patient. And then I'll reveal little spoiler. Is at the end, I tell you how my journey was part of how I changed as a doctor. Because I think when you change at a human level first, then वो table जो था ना बीच में कि मैं doctor सामने patient, that table disappears. You don't see that there is this barrier between you, that my degree keeps me different. You realize वो भी एक इंसान है, हम भी इंसान है, same problems on both sides, and that humanity comes back. So it becomes more genuine, the connection also. My entire professional trajectory changed. But like you asked, because I worked on myself first, and then self-care habits changed, exercise changed, food consciousness changed. Gradually, my pre-diabetes was totally gone. My personal, professional life, came back on track.
So from your experience, what I understood is you changed the behavior of dealing with certain, say diabetes, could be any disease. So behavior plays a very important role, and you give a lot of importance of behavioral changes when you treat your patient also. Tell me more about it, like how behavior and medicines are connected and how it's different, like prescription and behavioral.
I'm so glad you're asking me this question. It's like music for me, because this is something I believe in very, very strongly, and it has come over time. Is I just see the world differently now than I used to. Okay, my training as a doctor was, if they come to you with high glucose, give them the prescription. If they come back and the glucose or sugar is still high, give them more medicine. Tell them to change their behaviors, and when they don't, because you've not helped them, so they'll do what they know, they'll come back, the diabetes will get worse, you give even more medicine. Finally, 3 tablets, 4 tablets, when it gets all the way to the max, tell them they have to go on to insulin. That was my training. Today, if you ask me, so if you would have asked me in 2011, I would have given a different answer. Today, we know, especially in diabetes, which we say is a lifestyle or is very much influenced by behavior. Of course, there's genetics and there is family inheritance, and you inherit more than just your family's DNA, right? You also inherit their habits, their eating patterns, their exercise patterns, their relationship with their body, relationship with their food, how they manage stress. You pick up so many things from family besides genes.
Correct.
So many of those things can be changed. So the relationship between behavior and medicine in diabetes is so important for every doctor to understand. Why? See, if someone comes to me with a pneumonia, my job is I give them antibiotic course, 5 to 7 days. Like if it's a walking pneumonia, they go home, cure. I did the cure. I gave the antibiotics, correct ones. Patient has to swallow the pill, infection is gone. It's not like that in diabetes. That I give you a diabetes medicine for 5 days, you swallow the pill and 7 days later your diabetes is gone. ये तो है ही नहीं situation. Why? Because diabetes is totally affected by, after they take my piece of paper and they walk out into their life, how they eat, how they sleep, how they manage their stress, manage their thoughts, how they limit themselves or expand themselves in every situation, how they exercise, are they intermittent fasting, are they eating late into the night, or are they scrolling on the Instagram and doing things, right? So all of this is part of diabetes.
I wish my father met you when he got diabetic. So he went to the doctor and he came with a prescription. And for him, it took a decade, more than a decade, to understand that it's here. Nobody told him stress, what you're gonna eat, what's the last time you'll have your meal, what are you eating right now, what things to avoid till time. Yeah, medicine you should have to continue, but slowly you have to get your habits also better. Nobody told him. So now we are happy that there are doctors who are, rather than prescribing, they're also educating that, okay, prescription will only till the time you start managing it yourself. And I think that's what you're bringing to the table, that you were sitting on the other side of the table, you remove the table in between, you are giving patient the example that I am the living example, I have done that, and for me stress was different, was the contributing factor, for you is different. So out of the many reasons, like you just said, like scrolling, eating, when they're eating, when you encounter that stress is kind of the dominating factor, and when you see your patients coming to you, out of the many reasons that you see, what are the top 5 reasons that you see that are contributing and eventually contributing for them to be going to the diabetic line, and soon they'll cross it?
So I'm glad you picked the number top 5, because in my book I talk about a lifestyle car. Okay, a car. It has 4 wheels. And each wheel I discuss in order. On the cover of the book also, there is the first wheel, second, third, and fourth, in order.
Okay.
Number 1, nutrition.
Okay.
2, sleep. Third in sequence, stress management. Because if you feed yourself better food and take more rest, you wake up with a better, fresh, more relaxed brain, and your stress management skills automatically become easier. So stress is third. Fourth is exercise. I don't come into the exercise space until first, second, and third is covered. After we have all these 4 wheels looked at, and I call myself a mechanic, we do the checkpoints, checkup of the 4 wheels. Then if diabetes is still not fully reversed, we will add an optional 5th element, which is intermittent fasting, which means 4 wheels are okay. You want to go for a long drive, thoda distance baki hai. Diabetes reversal has not yet happened, and that's why my book is called Turn Around Diabetes, is let's turn around the direction in which we are taking our life for our lifestyle. Turn it around using the 4 wheels, then maybe optional 5th thing. So once I have done the 4 wheels properly and I know that nutrition, sleep, stress management, exercise are going correctly, but still this person has a little bit of diabetes still left or a little bit of fat loss that is still left, then we will add the 5th optional element, which is intermittent fasting. It's like saying that you have to go on a long drive on the highway. You will not go with any puncture. You'll fix the 4 wheels and then go for the long journey. So fasting is something we have to use it. I use it like a prescription medicine. Nowadays on the internet, people are catching, I'm doing IF, I'm doing 16-8. They try to do things, but they may not have done the 4 points of the wheels of the lifestyle car. And I find that they'll be the ones coming and telling me, maine to fasting kiya, it didn't suit me, didn't work for me. And I look at the habits that they used and I find mistakes. So that's when we make correct.
So I love your 5 points actually, and whether you have diabetes or not, I think both of us, we try to live up to this 5 points and try to catch up with these 5 points.
I think in the same order also,
Same
nutrition
order.
is the most important part of our life.
Yes.
And also we have recently introduced, like he has been fasting for a long time. I have recently introduced and I feel amazing. But we'll talk that little later because I want you to break down this 5 points or 5, you said?
I said 4 wheels and
4
the optional
wheels.
5th.
And 5th is optional.
4 wheels. So let's talk about nutrition now because I think nutrition plays a major role in dealing with diabetes or kind of reversing it, as you said.
Because most people associate diabetes with food.
Yes.
That's the only thing they think, oh, khana problem hai, and that too in sugar is a problem.
Yes.
So nutrition.
So what kind of nutrition should you take if you have diabetes or pre-diabetes? What do you suggest? Because we are so like ये नहीं खाना है, वो नहीं खाना है, sugar को एकदम ही cut कर दो. We cannot do cheat meals. We cannot, we cut off carbohydrate at all. So
sugar becomes the villain. In short, sugar becomes a villain in the nutrition journey of a pre-diabetic person.
So what is your, like through your experience and your expertise, tell us the ideal way of handling nutrition if you are a diabetic person?
Thank you. So first of all, बहुत लोग ने किया है, oh, I got diabetes, I stopped putting sugar in my tea and coffee. Okay, and then my next question is, ठीक है, अच्छी बात है, diabetes गया क्या? नहीं, medicines बढ़ती जा रही है, right? So I'm like, okay, great, I'm very happy that you reduced the sugar in your chai or coffee. Or they'll say, I've stopped having mangoes. I've given up on mangoes. They're not allowing me. And then family will come and complain कि उसने mango चुप चुप के खाया. I'm like, नहीं खाया तो भी किसका diabetes? So it doesn't cure diabetes just by stopping sugar in your tea, coffee, or just by stopping mangoes. I don't see those cases. Maybe they've cured and they don't come to me. But I see the ones who have tried the jamun, the karela, they've tried the methi, still they have diabetes, even though they stopped the sugar. So what is this? Okay? What we don't realize, especially in India, is it's not just sugar. You correctly mentioned the word carbohydrates. For almost 50 years, the world has been told to follow a low-fat diet. So in light foods, I've seen so many diabetic diet charts that tell you have 2 or 3 fulkas without ghee. Or it'll have, don't eat fried. Now, fried has other connotations, we'll get into that separately. But the push has been, have unlimited almost amounts of carbohydrate, fill up your plate 50% energy with carbohydrate. That has been the standard advice for the last 50 years, and people are doing it. The diabetes is not going away. It goes from 1 medicine, 2 medicine, 3 medicine, 4. So we should question the diet, that if I'm making the right diet, why is my diabetes getting worse? Okay? So the simple math here is, what is carbohydrate? Most people don't know. Huh. Carbohydrate is that food which after you digest it, whether it's sweet or not sweet, doesn't matter. It will become glucose in the blood
It will become glucose.
directly.
So when you eat carb,
It converted to
it gets
glucose.
break down to glucose,
Yes.
and then it's in your blood.
That's in your blood.
Yeah.
So we digest our food.
Yeah.
So when you digest carbohydrates, you get directly glucose. That includes rice, roti, millets, makhana, fruits, popcorn, jawar, bajra, ragi.
You're saying bajra ragi also, because a lot
It's
of
carbohydrate.
people think that it's a diet food.
Or when I become diabetic or when I have diabetes, I don't like the word diabetic. When I have diabetes, I should leave wheat, gluten, I should leave rice, and I should switch to millets. Or I should eat makhanas as my snack instead of something else, or chips or something. But if you look at the carbohydrates, this is where people need to learn how to read labels, nutrition labels. And my husband and I, we built our own app for our patients. So our patients log their food in the app. So they realize, oh, XYZ food, how much carbohydrate, how much protein. That's when they realize even dal, which they think is protein, is 65% carbohydrate and around 20 to 25% protein.
Okay, tell us more about this app. Actually, you can mark your, it's like a marker.
Yes, and most people are shocked when we tell them that, hey, you need this much protein, and what we are saying to follow like a low carb approach, which is the most powerful nutrition change you can make, is to reduce your carbs. Let's just give you the starting point. When people come into my practice and they've never counted in their life, I'll give you a typical Indian diet, right? Morning breakfast, if it's Gujarati, 1 or 2 khakras. If it's South Indian, 1 or 2 dosa. Okay, if it's a North Indian, 1 or 2 paratha.
Paratha, yeah.
Yeah, breakfast items. Or maybe they're doing oats or they're doing a cornflakes, right? This is the breakfast. Maybe a fruit. Maybe some tea, coffee, biscuit in between all that. Then lunch. Again, some portion of roti or rice, some bread item or a rice item, and then around that, some vegetable, maybe some pulse or some dal, maybe a portion of non-veg if they eat, and maybe some salad. But majority of the plate is carb. Usually, there's a 4 o'clock snack. Tea and something, maybe a bhel or a sandwich or something light. Why light they call? Low fat. Okay, because we've been told you have to eat certain calories, you have to avoid fatty foods, you have to avoid high calorie foods, avoid oil, and this makes them go into carbohydrates again. So it's a carbohydrate snack. Then comes dinner, very similar to lunch. Or if you're Gujarati, which I know because I am a Gujarati, they like to have variety food. So some pizza or some taco or some pasta or some noodle or some big dish.
For dinner.
Dinner. So when we do the math on this, and so you know what, we should not blame Western foods that, oh, it's Western junk food which is causing this problem. You could eat simple Indian home food and have this pattern of having 250 plus grams of carbohydrate plus per day. 250 grams of carbohydrate per day. So when we're saying low carbohydrate, we're trying to get them to 80 to 100 grams per day. So cutting by half.
Carbs,
and
less,
your-
fiber more,
Not fiber, just total carbs.
total carbs.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you calculate that? I mean, like, of course, you have an app.
Yes.
But if I don't have.
Yeah, I'll give you a rough count. So 1 6-inch chapati, thin Gujarati one, is about 15 carbs. If it's a thicker like a paratha or a Sindhi koki or something like that, you're looking at 18 to 20 carbs. If it's a bigger one, it could be even 20 to 25 carbs. Okay?
And rice?
Rice. So like our coffee cup. So if you take about this much rice, you're looking at 45 grams of carb. 1 medium apple or fruit, 15 grams of carb. 1 glass of milk, 15 grams. So 1 slice of bread, 15 grams.
So what's the ideal portion of carbs, protein, fiber one should have if they follow this app and they are on their way to reverse the diabetes? What's the portion of carbs, protein, fiber should be there ideally in a plate?
So carbs are not essential. I'm about to go next month to the US and be in a low carb conference where I'm going to meet certain carnivores. There are even some carnivores in India. They only eat animal protein from morning to night. They do not touch carbs, 0 carb intake. So this is a very extreme form of the keto diet. And they're healthy. They're in full fitness. So honestly, the body knows how to keep blood glucose stable even if you don't eat carbs. We said that if you eat carbs, it gets digested to glucose. We say glucose is essential for energy. We say brain needs glucose. But you don't need to eat glucose to have blood glucose.
Wow.
Your body will make it.
You are making a statement that a lot of people are going to like. So it's fair to say if you don't eat carbs, it's okay. I mean, your body will produce glucose anyways. Yes. And I've heard you giving a lot of importance to eating protein, including more of protein. And of course, one of the wheel is to exercise, as you said. So building muscle. Mm-hmm. So protein and building, exercise and protein together will build muscle. So talk us through this more and give us more depth about it.
Right. So one myth that people have is when I tell them, because everybody who comes in for diabetes, they're eating this much carb and I'm saying increase your protein, reduce your carb. They'll say, but I'm not exercising. Why do I need so much protein? I'm like, no. You need this much protein because of your body weight, your height, we have calculated. We're not even factoring whether you're exercising or not exercising. I'm giving you your base needs of protein, which you're not even meeting that. As long as my patients have healthy kidneys, I tell them 1.2 grams protein per kilo body weight. Okay. Now, if they are very overweight, we might make an adjustment in the formula and bring it down a little bit. But they still would need quite a lot of protein, which they're not getting, even if they're not exercising.
Okay.
So this is a wrong connection.
No, that's how we
Yeah.
all are programmed, because protein आते ही दिमाग में सबसे पहले आता है exercise, and then goes the protein supplements powder. But you connected the dots well, but I want you to explain a little more. Protein for muscles, it's important. It's a building block. हमने बचपन में पढ़ा था. As a diabetic person, or as a pre-diabetic person who is approaching you कि that okay, डॉक्टर ने बोला है प्रोटीन खाना है, उसने बोला कि मैं एक्सरसाइज तो करता नहीं हूँ, मैं क्या करना है. But if you have to explain him that why you are telling about protein and how it's gonna help you in your diabetic or pre-diabetic journey, then what you should.
I'm going to jump into that. I love that question. So, have you guys heard of the blockbuster drugs called Ozempic?
Yeah,
Mounjaro.
we just came across that
Yes.
name.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have another question
Yes.
about this later after you finish this.
Yeah. So, why am I saying it now? Okay, because they came into the market as diabetes drugs. They are hormone manipulating drugs, and they are also being used as weight loss drugs. They manipulate the hormones, okay? One of the big hormones that they manipulate is GLP-1. So Ozempic is considered a GLP-1 analog. Semaglutide, it's a GLP-1 analog. That's the formula behind it. Now GLP-1 is a natural hormone. Remember we said type 2 diabetes, you have insulin, but it's not working properly. Similarly, we all have GLP-1. In type 2 diabetes or in obesity, it's not working properly.
Okay.
Wow, and that's the reason the Ozempic became that drug.
To give you supplemental GLP-1. What if I told you eating protein improves GLP-1 activity naturally?
Really? Oh, that is amazing. Now, tell me, this Ozempic is so popular nowadays and people are misusing it to, of course, to lose weight. Is it safe?
Okay, so again, it's a tricky subject. Some people are getting shamed and blamed for using it. So let's first address them. If you have a medical need, why you need to be on it, there's no judgment, okay? But just for that aesthetic only, to go behind this drug is something I would not recommend. I also don't give it to my clients or patients with type 2 diabetes as a first choice. I use it as a last resort when I have gone through their mechanics checklist. We're working on all the 4 wheels. We're adding intermittent fasting. They're still struggling. Let's use this medicine. Let's help with the hormonal, adjustment.
Yeah.
But my goal is to get them off of that medicine as soon as possible. The reason being, as you asked, is it safe? We don't have lifetime data on these drugs. They've just entered the market in the last few years. The manufacturers are saying, when you stop the drug, this is clinical experience, when you stop the drug, the weight comes back. That means they're saying you have to be on this for life. The same way they had told us for BP or for type 2 diabetes, you have to be on this for life. So then there is no off-ramp planned. But we don't have the safety data for the doctor who's picking up the pen and prescription and license and credibility and responsibility to prescribe it to you, we don't have data to justify that it's safe. Some of the top two concerns I have with this in terms of safety. Number one, it reduces your appetite by slowing down the speed at which the food goes from the stomach to the small intestine and down in the digestive tract. Okay? It slows down the movement of food. It's almost like paralyzing the stomach. So when sometimes in surgery they found out, anesthesia doctors found out that we told a patient be fasting from midnight, don't eat, we have surgery next morning, don't eat. And they still found food in the stomach even though the patient had fasted because the stomach was not emptying the food properly. It has even become in severe cases full-blown paralysis of the digestion. They have to be in hospital. I don't want to give that to my patient. I can stop the movement of food through the intestine by going through fasting. If you fast, nothing's moving, right? That's safer. Number two risk, which I don't like, is let's say someone has lost 10 kilos on this drug. Maybe 6 kilos of that, 7 kilos might be fat loss. 3 to 4 kilos might be muscle loss. I have a big problem with that. Muscle loss. I have a big problem with muscle loss because I'm looking not just at giving you a better HbA1c or a better glucose report in 3 months. I'm looking at your long-term plan. Imagine your stock market advisor is saying, buy this stock, you'll make money in 3 months. But if you keep that stock for the long term, he knows she knows it's going to die. That brand, that company is going to die. Will you invest in such a long-term plan? No. So I don't want short-term quick fix weight loss on the scale, which is costing me muscle.
But doctor, you are going to prescribe Ozempic to only diabetic patient, not to normal patient, normal person, right?
People call me. Yeah. They say, will you give it to me for weight loss? And no.
But
wrong
people
number.
are doing that.
Yes.
What would you tell them?
Well, there are weight loss clinics, okay? There are weight loss clinics that are in the business of administering this drug with a doctor, with a qualified, certified doctor, doing the prescription management. At the end of the day, the world is a marketplace. And if there is a customer who wants a product or a service and someone is willing to provide that.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say, doctor, people generally, they don't want to go through the process. They want to have the result then and there itself. When it comes to pre-diabetic also, they're ready to take the medicine throughout their life, provided they can eat today whatever their favorite food is and let the drug do the control of sugar. Same ways goes with Ozempic as well. They are ready to have the weight loss now itself, but they don't want to go through that process. So is it like that that mindset is still there?
I don't want to judge how the thinking must be for the person who is opting for it. They must be feeling so desperate. Okay, and those desperate calls and requests do come to me. So I don't want to judge the person who opts for it because I've heard people say that it was life-changing, that getting on this drug was life-changing for me. It gave me the confidence back. So it's not right for us to shame the person who opts or to say that they don't have enough willpower to change their habits, so they took the easy way out, they took the shortcut, because that is happening in society where we're judging people. But is there a system that might take advantage of this lack of knowledge? So let me put it this way. I'm not going to judge the individual who thinks that this is their only choice. I have a problem with a system that is going to take advantage of people not having information. And that's why I have made it my job to give out more information so that people can make an informed choice. Maybe the person going for the medicine feels like they don't have any other options left. When I look at them, I might find things that, hey, but there was a gap here, there was a gap here, there was a gap here. If they say, मेरे से वो तो नहीं change होगा, I was like, तो ठीक है, तो फिर doctor change कर लो. Get the doctor that works for you, because I need to feel right about my prescription for you. I don't want to put you into a harm.
डॉक्टर एक चीज़ मिस हो गई हमसे. हाँ, हम न्यूट्रिशन से एक्सरसाइज तक पहुंच गए. बीच में मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट जो कि हम दोनों के लिए स्लीप रह गया है. नाउ देयर आर डेज, पर्सनली टेल यू, वी स्लीप वेरी गुड. लाइक कहते हैं ना कि 8 घंटे आप सो सकते हो, तो यू हैव लाइक रिच पीपल लाइक हु कैन अफोर्ड 8 hours ऑफ स्लीप. बट देयर आर डेज व्हेन, लाइक बिफोर द पॉडकास्ट, whenever we are traveling that day, like 3-4 दिन हमें नींद ही नहीं आती है. मतलब कि वो कंटिन्यूसली इन स्ट्रेस की, यार आइटनरी प्लान हो गया है, बहुत सारी एंग्जाइटी रहती है. बट स्लीप मोस्टली इरेगुलर रहती है एंड हम उसको कंपनसेट करते हैं कि दिन में सो जाओ. बट एज अ डॉक्टर, क्या ऐसे कंपार्टमेंट में, इंस्टॉलमेंट में स्लीप लेंगे और पूरा कर लें, दैट counts, or you have to have a good 7-8 hours of sleep at a stretch?
And before you answer that, I just want to include my question as well because it's about sleep. I don't want you to come back.
Yeah.
So even if we do all the to-do list to get good sleep, like eating on time, eating right, exercise, and cutting down on blue lights and everything. So sometime due to anxiety, mostly for our case, even my case, we just don't get sleep even if we go to bed at 10. So maybe this entire sleep thing, you can address it together and answer for us.
So there is a whole book written by Dr. Sachin Panda called The Circadian Diabetes Code. It's an entire book dedicated to the body clock, circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is that 24-hour body clock which is there inside us. We have that natural rhythm, day, night. Following that helps people put their diabetes into remission. So limiting the food intake at night and having that proper sleep, what you were talking about, has improved diabetes. That's one fact I just want to put. Does a nap help? If the person is sleep deprived, a nap helps.
During the day you're talking about. Okay.
A small nap, not like a very long nap, because if you take like a 2-hour nap, it's again going to affect the way you fall asleep tonight. But like a short nap, maybe a 15 to 20 minute nap, can really improve your mental focus, your readiness, your body gets a bit of that burst that it needs.
We call it power nap.
Power naps. That's actually a thing. So if you can actually get that good quality nap, it can help. It would be ideal to get that wonderful unbroken 7 hours, and we all aim for that. So of course, you mentioned you know about blue lights, because that's one of the biggest contaminants. Is we feel that light band karke pillow pe sar rakh diya, I should be snoring now, I should be fast, like, but it doesn't happen like that, because you have not experienced any sunset, not experienced any gradual darkness. Normally when you're outdoors, it starts to get dark. From 6 o'clock onwards, the light is changing, it's going blue, the sun goes down, and then by 9 o'clock, if you're outdoors in a camping or you've gone, in the mountains, you know that by 9 o'clock, 9:30, everybody's sleeping in the villages. Now the villages have become high-tech with tube lights and TVs and phones, so it's gone in the villages also, but we used to all feel sleepy in the villages and mountains because it was dark. Now your point about, and that I'll tell you the hormone behind that, right? Because I'm a hormone doctor. We've heard about melatonin, the jet lag hormone. That's the daily jet lag we get when we are using the artificial lights, that we think it's day all the way till we turn the switch off. The brain has not experienced night. So that's
switch off, you mean like the phone, the TV?
Yeah, power off your lights, your gadgets. Suddenly, अचानक से, imagine like sun is bright in the sky at 4 o'clock, और अचानक एक पर्दा आ जाता है on the sun. That's a very weird sunset.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing at 10
That's
o'clock.
exactly what we are doing.
Yeah. फटाक से चलो sunset हो गया, अंधेरा हो गया, go to sleep.
ओके, इसलिए ऐसा कहा जाता है कि भाई सोने के कुछ घंटे पहले एक ब्रेक रखो अपने एलईडी और ब्लू लाइट से, जिससे वो ग्रेजुअली लगे कि ये लाइट बंद हो रही है, तो आपके उसके पहले आपने दूसरी लाइटों को ऑलरेडी बंद कर दिया है, आपको एक ग्रेजुअल सनसेट नजर आए आपके स्लीपिंग पैटर्न के अंदर.
Because the brain releases melatonin hormone. Where is melatonin gland secreted, the located? Your pineal gland is right between your optic nerves. So it's a light meter sitting right at the box where the two optic nerves are taking information from your eyes and sending it to the brain. Light meter ka location wahan pe hai. And that is the one releasing melatonin when it gets the darkness inputs. Jab darkness aaye tab na.
Doctor, you are also someone who's very, like previously you've spoken about Reiki, and of course spiritually connected you are. How much does it help for someone who is very spiritually awakened and does spiritual practice? Can it help in our like diabetes or pre-diabetes or a normal lifestyle even though?
Yeah, and you mentioned about the anxiety and not falling asleep. I'll connect it to that as well. Is you don't need to even be spiritual, right? I mean, if you believe that some intelligent force has put the sun in place and the moon in place and the earth in place, and accident नहीं होता है, space में कुछ तो चल रहा है ना, something is working out there which is beyond us. Even to make this plant, we don't know how to do it. It's being done by some intelligent force. If you respect and accept that that is there in this environment, whatever that is, stay connected to that. It doesn't need to be a god. I also don't pray to a god as such. For me, it's about just, can we embrace our own humanity, our own spirit? Now, coming to your question, I'm going to link it two ways, because you asked me about diabetes and about anxiety, so I'm jumping a little bit between topics. Is I have this technique that helps me fall asleep when I'm not able to fall asleep.
Okay.
I'm also guilty of this late night screen till the last moment. Scroll. Check the likes, check the posts, check the comments.
Yeah, we are living in this time where our job, forget about mindlessly. Sometimes even for job we have to do it.
I do it only for job. I don't do it for time pass at all. Well, no, okay, fine. It is very addictive. I do it for time pass also. But then we'll tell others, no, it's calm. It's doing some calm, right? But to be honest, when a big day tomorrow, or now with age also, I'm 47 and a half, is now I'm more sensitive to the thoughts about tomorrow. I used to have amazing sleep my whole life. I've been a doctor, I've been a mother of 2 young kids. You have terrible long nights, on call in the hospital, done all that, no problem. Now it's more sensitive, I feel. It's changing with age. So what do I do if I have a big event tomorrow and I'm not able to fall asleep? My thoughts are racing, list, check, make sure nothing goes wrong. Something's happened to my kids, something at work, in my family, whatever. There is a technique. It's a self-help technique. It's called emotional freedom technique.
Emotional freedom technique.
Yeah. Should I teach it to you now?
I'm excited.
Yeah. So can you give me an example of something that kept you up at night recently that is okay to share?
I mean, like if I have a shoot tomorrow, I keep thinking about, this is how I'm going to shoot, this is the shot I'm going to take, this is my lines. And sometimes just like mostly this, but sometimes even I plan my future and some random thoughts, and lot of it, like my mind is racing all the time. I mean, I'm an overthinker.
This is the technique. I'll give you the structure. It's going to say, even though I have this blank problem, ABC problem,
Yeah.
even then, I still love and accept myself completely.
Okay.
So I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to
Please
pretend.
record.
I'm going to do it for you, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend that I'm you. Actually, you should do it with me.
Okay.
Do this with me. So you're going to tap this border of your hand.
Here.
Yeah.
Any hand?
Any hand.
Okay.
It's the karate border. Karate people, they
Here.
break. Yeah, they break wood. So many blocks of wood they
Yeah.
can break with this. So this is the karate border. This is a combination of NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and acupressure. So these are acupressure points, or ancient Chinese medicine. It's a combination of these two modalities into one, called EFT.
EFT.
So I'm going to be you now.
Yeah.
Even though I have this shoot tomorrow, say with me,
Even though I have the shoot tomorrow,
and I have so much to do,
and I have so much to do,
and it has to go perfectly,
and it has to go perfectly,
and I'm worried about it,
and I'm worried about it,
even then,
I
still love and accept myself completely.
I still love and accept myself completely.
Even though
So
much thinking
much thinking
is not allowing me to sleep.
is not allowing me to sleep.
And if I'm a skinfluencer,
And if I'm a skin influencer,
I need to have beauty sleep.
I need to have beauty sleep.
But I'm not getting sleep.
But I'm not getting sleep.
Even then,
I
I still love and accept myself
still love and accept myself
fully and completely.
fully and completely.
Hands on the chest.
Yeah, it felt nice.
Okay. Usually when I do this, I'm gone.
I am definitely going to try this, and thank you so much. I'm sure a lot of the people from the audience are going to try this.
We have covered some
You
interesting things.
have just given a viral shot.
And people, the audience can also have access to this information in the book that you have said that
Yes, yes.
Is it about to get launched? Or
My
it's
book,
launched?
so my book launched last year, and I have covered all the wheels of the lifestyle car and diabetes medicines, blood tests. That book came out. That book came out last year.
Yeah,
That
we
we're
are
already discussing in bits and pieces,
Yes.
but they will have more information,
Yeah.
in-depth information, if they have access to that book, which they can
we are
definitely
going to
avail.
link it in the description.
So, doctor, I was sharing my father's example, like when he got diabetic, and everybody was like whispering in the house कि तो जिंदगी भर ड्रग एक मेडिसिन के ऊपर रहना है, and he took the matter in his own hands कि उनको रेज करना था हम मेरी सिस्टर को, and so he decided कि यार there is no doctors like you as such who will actually teach. There are doctors who can give prescription, ये खाओ ये खाओ ये खाओ ये खाओ, 3 महीने बाद फिर से जांच कराओ ये, और शुगर बिल्कुल मत खाओ. सो ही रियलाइज कि उनकी जर्नी में कुछ चीज़ें मिसिंग थी. ही इज़ अंडर लॉट ऑफ स्ट्रेस, विच वी हमने बात करा कि कोई ना कोई किसी ना किसी ढंग से रहता ही है. दूसरा, देयर वाज नो पार्ट ऑफ एक्सरसाइज इन हिज रूटीन, एंड he is not like strength training exercise, but he started like, okay, I will do yoga, that surya namaskar, a lot of stretching, and which requires body weight, a lot of walking, brisk walking. So he connected these two things. Nutrition is the first thing he started, but he was in his own self learning journey, and he connected that. From there, I think I got it that nutrition se to that's the base, but exercise and connecting it with stress, like how he is going to manage his stress, he linked it with this exercise, that if he start his day with the morning run or stretching, he has a better stress control. Coming from you, now you are a person in this field who is teaching rather than prescribing, and this is the fourth wheel and the third wheel in your car. I want you to elaborate it, what my father have missed it, and which you can put a lot of sense.
I mean, first of all, hats off that your dad is so self-motivated that he did so much, right? In spite of not having the external tools, he did so many good things. And we want to give more tools to such people, right? Those motivated people who are looking for guidance. So stress management, everybody in India may not go see a therapist or a counselor. In fact, there might be even a stigma that mental means what? Like crazy. Are you crazy? And it's not about crazy. I think we have to acknowledge things like mild depression, mild anxiety. These could be real things that can really pull us down. And the most powerful self-help step, obviously I'm not a qualified mental health professional, so if someone's having really difficult thoughts, just can't really pull themselves out of bed to function, they should get professional help. But if it's in a manageable level and you just want to function better with your thoughts, the first thing is, in my chapter on stress management, I ask in the book, how clean is your thought diet?
Thought diet.
Thought
Wow.
diet.
Wow.
We talk about food diet, eat clean diet. What are you feeding here? क्या खा रहे हो? Are you consuming the news channel which is always filling you with negativity? Are you comparing yourself with others? Right? Are you negative self-talk? I'll give you an example in diabetes only. I always find it difficult to say no. If somebody forces me, उनको बुरा लग जाएगा. I can never say no. मेरे सामने समोसा रखो, I can never resist. इसमें क्या आ गया? Always, never. झूठ. It's not possible कि आप always or never. You can tell me that till yesterday, I could not resist a samosa, or I could not tell my hosts or guests कि नहीं बाबा, I don't want to eat this. What happens today and tomorrow is unknown. It's in your hands. If you change something right now, you may have a different behavior tomorrow. But we lose this present moment in this past, future, past, future, past, future. Abhi kya hai? So mindfulness brings you back in the present moment. Or someone will say, I'm a foodie. Then they'll say, I have a sweet tooth. Then someone will say, I don't have one sweet tooth. I have all 32 sweet teeth. Right? So what is this? It's funny, but they're actually disrespecting themselves. If you talk like this about your 4-year-old child, the child will feel bad. If you talk like this about your best friend, they won't feel motivated. But we do this to ourselves. I don't have willpower. But why are you saying this? Maybe in the past you didn't have any tools or any options. Maybe you had not planned out some other options for yourself. So you gave in to the flow. And the flow is, the world right now is creating an environment which is very diabetes prone. It's not easy for us to eat healthy. It's not easy for us to find protein everywhere, especially vegetarian protein. It's not easy for us to sleep on time and wake up on time with the birds and the sun and all that. It's not easy for us to be away from negativity. It's all around. So the default is diabetes prone. If we are not in charge of our own life, then who is? So my book, the chapter on stress management, covers this in many different ways. How you can catch yourself. And I even talk about a drama that we do, like a drama triangle. Poor me, my boss is so bad, so I have to eat cake.
Like complaining
Just to-
all the time.
Just to
Yeah.
like don't sound rude and
Yeah.
be in good books with the boss.
Yeah, so I'm the victim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, or poor me, I can't go to the gym because so and so doesn't allow, or so and so, again poor me.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
happens with
Right?
everybody.
We all do it, even I do it.
अरे आज बहुत लंबी शिफ्ट हो गई बिकॉज
Yeah.
बॉस था और
Yeah,
रह के थोड़ा
yeah,
एक्स्ट्रा
yeah.
कर लिया कि जस्ट
Yes.
अब
Yeah.
कॉम्पनसेट क्या करना है खुद की लाइफ स्टाइल आज खाना भी गलत खाया
Yes.
सोए भी सही ढंग से नहीं एक्सरसाइज मिस कर दिया है
Yeah.
एंड वी आर कंट्रीब्यूटिंग एट ऑल द लेवल्स एंड वी आर पुशिंग आवरसेल्फ टू द प्री डायबिटिक फेज
Yeah. So it's a drama we do. It's like a musical chairs. आज मैं बुरी, या boss is बुरा, या the cupcake or the cake is बुरा, or I'm बुरा because I had the cake. So today I'm having a cake, I'm liking it, and something else is an external problem. Tomorrow morning when I see the doctor, I'll say, I was such a cheat. You mentioned this question of cheat. What is the question of cheat? It's somebody's birthday, you're having a celebration, you're eating a cake. Cheating कहाँ से आई? अपने पैसे तो दिए ना केक वाले को, right?
Yeah.
So if you have paid for it, you have done the celebration. Now tomorrow morning you're saying cheating किया क्यों? Why are you playing on both sides? So what I teach is, can you be in reality about both? And this point about exercise, I'll link it this way. I used to say, and I'm always a big fan of, अगर मैं बोल रही हूँ patient को कि बहुत अच्छा है, you do this, then I should also do it ना. If it's such
बिल्कुल,
good
live by an
advice,
example.
हाँ, live by example, and इतनी अच्छी advice है तो मैं क्यों खुद नहीं कर रही हूँ? So, but my excuse was, I don't have time for exercise because I have small children and I have to build my medical career, my practice. This was when we had come back from US and I was young doctor, young mother. I said, I don't have time for exercise. And then I started doing this mindfulness thing. And I was observing my thought diet. I was like, oh, I'm limiting myself. The most beautiful things in my life is my growing career and my growing children. Those are the most beautiful things. Now they are becoming my excuse why I'm not healthy. Right? So this is sounding like a drama now. So I flipped it and I said, because I am busy, I find time to be a fit doctor and fit mother. Because I want to be this person who's a role model to my patients and my kids. I don't want to be this person who's unhealthy and giving all stories to my patients and kids why I'm unhealthy, but you should be healthy. That's not who I want to be.
बहुत सही कहा आपने
Yeah.
walk the talk
And we
Like,
have
करना
seen it here so many where like doctors are unhealthy, gym trainers are unhealthy, but they are actually training it. Then we also say how come, you know?
So would you learn dance from a dance teacher who can't dance?
It's like practice what you
preach. Yeah.
yes as a skin influencer
Yeah.
Yeah. If
how-
if I don't have a healthy skin,
Yeah, exactly.
how can I preach about it?
Exactly.
so people they do reach out like ये बता दो इससे fix हो जाएगा no you have to start with the basics
Yes.
and nobody is interested, nobody wants to know that okay this is what we have achieved not just by using a skincare product. There's a lot of good choices that we made after going everything. Good nutrition is there, exercise, sleep is there, we are fasting also. What you are seeing is the end result of lot of good choices that we have made, but people
Yeah.
you know like they
You get
always
stuck. You
yeah
get
they
stuck.
always like they don't want to talk about it. Okay, can I use this product and get it fixed? So the approach, the teaching is missing in, as you said, teaching is very much important in your profession, and sometimes it does come in our profession as well where we try to do it. So yeah, that's so
Yeah,
true.
it's like a basic rule of living a proper healthier life, I think. Not only if you have diabetes or not, if you follow all of the wheels, your 4 wheels, then I'm sure we don't have to go that far to even pre-diabetes phase. Now talking about the 4 wheels, we have almost completed. Now after we have lived up to that 4 wheels and our 4 wheels are in proper running condition, then you have also spoken
We want to
about
hit the highway. We want to hit the highway now.
we want to hit the highway, and now we want to do fasting, and what is the, you said correct way of fasting, what is the correct way of fasting? Because I would speak for myself. When I initially started fasting, I had a lot of issues, like I felt hungry, irritated, I felt migraine, like that is something that even I get in now, but I have kind of mastered it to the point where I don't feel that much, because I know that my body is dehydrated, I need to drink water. Even for us, give us guidance of doing the correct way of fasting, if you have, like, if you're ready to fly now.
If you're ready to fly. So some of the side effects that you mentioned of fasting would have been troubleshooted with the four wheels of the car, right? So mistakes that happen is if you try to fast from a high carb diet. What is fasting all about? Why does fasting work, first of all? We talked about high insulin resistance. That insulin is there, but it's not working. Now, I'll talk about fasting for two different populations. One is you're healthy. You don't have diabetes, pre-diabetes, obesity. You're doing it for prevention. The other person is someone who comes in with a health condition, a health problem, blood pressure, diabetes, fatty liver, triglycerides, PCOS, okay? And they are trying to reverse those health conditions, which is related to high insulin. So two separate situations. The points to focus on are slightly different, but I'll try and make the common factors. One is it'll be difficult for anyone if they try to fast with a high carb starting point, above 100 grams per day. So I would first get them into 80 to 100 first, because what you described, headache, irritability, weakness, this can come from that carbohydrate crash, the insulin crash. Along with that, you mentioned headaches and migraines, sometimes salt losses, because high insulin means salt is being kept. The minute you start fasting, insulin starts crashing, sodium is being thrown. So sometimes we have to check blood pressure, and if blood pressure is normal, give back salt. So not just water, but salted lemon water.
Are you allowed to drink that while you're fasting?
So there is a pure water fasting, which is for autophagy, and maybe you all as skin influencers want that, recycling the dead cells and having the autophagy.
We usually do that.
Pure water.
Fasting.
Yes. So pure water fast, that works. So then you would not take, but still salt may help with the headaches. Okay. If someone's doing it for the metabolic health reversal of a condition, of course they have to do it under their doctor's supervision. This is not for the YouTubers to just catch and do on their own, because the medicines need to be adjusted, everything needs to be monitored, glucose, blood pressure can come down, sodium can come down. So it's a prescription. So we monitor them, and then they can take salted lemon water as a support fluid initially, because later on they can progress to the advanced fasting of pure water fasting, which is for the beauty benefits, the internal autophagy, anti-cancer benefits, all of that. But initially we're doing it for the weight loss, for the insulin resistance reversal, diabetes reversal. So they can use these fasting liquids to support. So that's a nutrition mistake.
So intermittent fasting, like now we do water fasting, but intermittent fasting is a different thing. So when you are suggesting to this person who is ready to hit the highway, he is on his journey to get this thing under control, or now getting reversed, now you're suggesting this person to go with IF or fasting. The idea behind suggesting fasting is the repair, to kickstart his system to have that, because the insulin resistance is there, it will come to a more normal levels. Is this the idea behind fasting is?
There is that, and there's one more piece, which is the high glucose that is in the system is coming from where? It's coming, one, from the food itself. But a lot of patients will tell us that I did not have anything major for dinner. My blood sugar when I went to sleep was 140. When I woke up, it was 160.
Oh.
Why? Why is it going up in fasting? Because your liver is detoxing overnight. It is throwing out all the unnecessary waste, and it is so overfull with all these years of weight gain and inch gain around the belly that it is trying to liquidate those extra funds, which is making it sick. So you're seeing this high fasting glucose. So besides the simple benefits of fasting, there is this medical point, which as insulin levels go down, this extra glucose can be burnt, consumed, thrown out, flush out.
Okay.
And that's
so when doctor, like this person has reached to your checklist of fasting, during this time, when nutrition is getting monitored, sleep, exercise, and stress level, how you recommend, like my father was recommended 3 3 महीने में जांच कराओ भैया, ब्लड शुगर का एक बार, घर से नहीं लैब में जाके कराओ, बिकॉज कभी कभार आपके हाथ नहीं होते तो उसके अंदर रीडिंग गलत आ जाता है. सो व्हेन इट कम्स टू योर प्रैक्टिस ड्यूरिंग दिस फेज, हाउ मेनी टाइम्स ऑफ monitoring you suggest?
Yes. So it's safe to have a good soap and water and hand hygiene and check at home. I am not happy with the patient being blind to their daily decisions. They'll ask me, papaya acha hai, bajra acha hai, brown rice acha hai. I'm like, check karo na, eat it and check in 2 hours. If you wait for after 3 months, after 90 days, you'll do one judge. But then 3 months back, you had that food. You don't know how that affected you 2 hours later. That 2-hour PP reading, it's available to you. And just clean your hands with soap and water. And I've shown this on the podcast. There is a good way to check, which is the borders which you see when you join your palms together. You prick on the side borders. You don't prick on the fleshy, pulpy part. It hurts a lot if you prick on these tips. It's very sensitive point. So you don't prick on the tips. You prick on the sides. Now, when you're in a fast, we would ask the patient to, at a minimum, check just before the fast ends. So you were mentioning that IF and intermittent is different. These are just words. Mainly what we're looking at is how many hours. So I will ask that make sure in the eating window you're getting enough protein for the day, and then twice a week they will increase the overnight gap. So whatever is their overnight gap, let's say it's 10 hours, because many people in India, they eat dinner by 9 o'clock and then next morning by 7 o'clock they're again having something. So it's about 10 hours. So we want twice a week, expand, make it 12, make it 14 hours. Slowly twice a week, advance. And true fat burn will come at 36 hours. When you're actually running out of your stored glycogen, your stored carbohydrates, you'll go into fat burn. That will happen at 36 hours fasting.
So I have 2 questions here. I'll ask it for 2 different people. One person who wants to avoid diabetes and he wants to have all these 4 wheels intact, and he wants to introduce fasting, intermittent fasting in his routine. Now, as a teacher, what you suggest this person that, okay, you are safe and you want to be in this mode forever. If you're fasting, how one should start the fast? What should be the nutritions? Because nutrition is different. Like before fasting and after fasting, what would be the nutrition for that person? And what would be the nutrition for the person who is under your guidance and on his way to recovery? What would be his before fasting nutrition and breaking the fast nutrition?
It depends on the duration of the fast. If it's a simple 14-hour fast, overnight like 16-hour fast, it's not that critical how slowly you reintroduce food. But if for the healthy person or for the metabolically unwell person, it starts to get more focused reintroduction of food when you're going into a 36 and beyond. Because if they suddenly start hogging, they may end up with loose motions. Because the gut has taken a nap, the gut is sleeping and resting. So the digestive enzymes are not on full capacity, full throttle. So the secretion of your digestive juices needs to be given that gradual wake-up call. Is, hello, let's start now. Please secrete the digestive juices. So when you give a slow introduction, maybe a small green leafy vegetables, if it's been a long fast, and then you reintroduce, you start with some green leafy vegetables, maybe a tomato, not a lot of heavy spice, not a lot of heavy food. And then you add the protein. It's important to add the protein. And when you're starting the fast, the last meal before the fast, I definitely want that to be a protein-focused meal, not a high carb. Because if you start from high carb, you're again throwing high insulin. Ab fast bhi wahi cheez ke liye kar rahe ho to get insulin down. But you're just going to the 3rd floor and jumping down instead of walking out nicely from the ground floor, which is let's keep low insulin at the starting point with low carb diet and then get into the fasting window. So that's more comfortable.
So doctor, till now we have spoken about reversing diabetes and keeping it in control, or managing it. Now I want to ask you something, that can diabetes be life-threatening?
Yes, it can. It is one of the number 1 killers in the world. It is driving so many of the heart attacks in the world.
Because my father had diabetes and he died of heart attack. He managed his diabetes pretty well, and he was like okay without diabetes
Medication.
medication for a longer time, and his blood sugar level was always okay. I mean, it comes to normal. Like at that point, I was not so knowledgeable about this disease, but then he died of heart attack. So how? Just because you said, I can relate to it. So. What are the precautions one should take? I mean, to not to reach till that level, because
So, I'm really sorry that you lost your dad that way. Um, Heart disease, ischemic heart disease, what we say heart attack, is linked with insulin resistance. So this is what I tell my patients all the time, is it's not that someone has fatty liver, which is only liver doctor will see that organ. Kidney disease from diabetes has to go to the kidney doctor. Heart disease and blockages in the coronary, 1 stent, 2 stent is cardiologist. Diabetes medicines, diabetes doctor is looking. What's going on? The common factor between all of this is insulin resistance. So you might have normal blood glucose, but still have insulin resistance. So maybe your father, I don't know his case, but let's take anybody else, right? High blood pressure is linked with insulin resistance. That can drive heart attacks. So the top 2 causes of heart attacks and kidney failure are diabetes and high blood pressure. What is the common factor in both? Insulin resistance. This entire chat we've had, the 4 wheels and the fasting, reverses insulin resistance. PCOS, insulin resistance.
so it's fair to say that diabetes can lead to heart attack,
Yes.
and could have been the reason for my father's.
I mean, yeah, it's hard for me to comment on specifically
Yeah.
your dad's case, but every cardiologist will say, and every internal medicine doctor will say, diabetes, you have to consider and assume that this person has heart disease.
Okay, so do we get any symptoms before we get to that condition, or
Not necessary.
that? No.
No, there may not be symptoms. We don't want to wait for symptoms. In fact, the way diabetes can progress, the nerves can become numb. How we know that people sometimes lose their feet, they have amputations because they step on something, and because of the diabetic damage of the nerve, they don't feel it. So they keep on walking on it. They don't feel pain. And then they get the gangrene and they lose their toe. Similarly, chest pain, which should be the way you know about heart disease, can be numb in someone with diabetes. You may have what they call silent heart attacks. So we cannot wait for symptoms. We need to be proactive. Of course, you can do a simple blood test like a lipid panel. That doesn't tell you whether there is heart disease or not. There are tests you can do. There are stress tests a cardiologist can run where they run you on the treadmill, check if there's any ECG changes. Coronary artery calcium score, which is a simple, easy scan, very low radiation, but worth to do as a screening test. And then, of course, the more invasive is to do an angiography, but everybody should not be getting an angiography. There are so many ways to check early if there are warning signs of blockage.
So what are the basic, a normal individual, just to be on the safer side, just to make sure regular check, what are the must-haves checkups they can get that introduced in their life when it comes to blood work?
Yeah. So for your audience, let's say they're just fully healthy. They're like 20 plus. They want to make sure they're fine. I would say at least get an HbA1c, which is a 90-day average of your blood glucose. Okay. It's a bit more expensive to do fasting insulin and fasting glucose tests together. So HbA1c now is quite reasonable, easy to get in most places. Fasting lipid panel, you should know, especially look, and the sad thing is, it's incomplete to look only at cholesterol. You need to look at triglycerides and triglyceride HDL ratio. Okay? Triglycerides is a very big problem for cardiac risk. Even more so in my mind, it's very controversial. If you ask cardiologists, they'll say, get the cholesterol down. My study of this is we need to get the triglyceride HDL ratio down. And with the work we've spoken about today, you can totally correct the triglyceride HDL ratio. The other thing you should look for is your liver enzymes. Fatty liver is becoming too normal now. No, not normal,
No.
but the radiologists are beginning to say it's normal to have grade 1 fatty liver. It's not at all normal. So we need to look at the liver enzymes, the SGOT, SGPT. It's a simple liver chemistry test on one blood prick and just 2-3 tubes, and you'll get some basic, again, this is low cost, I'm saying starting point.
So HB1AC, triglycerides, LDL HDL ratio,
Yeah, that's lipid panel,
SGPT,
and SGOT.
SGOT, that's a liver profile test.
We can add more, like we can put it in the show notes in the end of the.
Yeah,
And these
maybe.
should be done on 90 days or 6
No,
months?
once a year for a
Once
healthy
in a year,
person.
once in a year.
If you're healthy, it's okay, once a year. But like if I'm working with a patient, then as you mentioned, right, then the doctor says, come back in 3 months with the repeat tests. What I do is, in between the test and the 90 days test, I'm with them. I'm working on, is what are we going to change in these habits so that in 90 days the report will come better.
Yeah. So report card then matters, because this, whatever we are doing in the 90 days, the report card will show that
Show
result.
the efforts, yeah.
Diabetes, pre-diabetes, it's reversible provided you have right guidance, you are following the 4 wheels as we have discussed. And is it safe that you are an example, you did reverse? My father, I didn't share but he started with a lot of medication. Now he's on a very bare minimum medication, that like once in a day. So I can safely say that yes, he has reversed it. He is still on medication, but on a very, like if he has started like 5 mg or so, now he's at like half a tablet, and that too on a very small quantity, that's only once in a day. So it's reversible provided the lifestyle choices are made right.
So confirming to be reversible or not, there is a test. So ask your audience if they want to know, is my diabetes reversible or not? Fasting C-peptide test. Well, that's one. C-peptide. That tells you how much insulin your pancreas is still making.
Okay. So, doctor, as a woman, because you are a doctor who balances hormone and talks about hormone and treats patients with hormonal imbalance, as a woman, I want to ask you about PCOS condition. Give us a little guidance before we close this podcast about PCOS and everything to do with it.
Yes. So thank you for asking that. It's a growing problem now. PCOS is on the rise. Some of it is lifestyle related. Some of it is probably environmental pollutants. A lot of endocrine disruptors are in the environment. Microplastics in the water, in the air, in the soil. A lot of the food industry, food is contaminated with plastics. Pesticides. Everything we consume now has much more endocrine influence. Even perfumes, cosmetics, they have endocrine disruptors in them. Yes. So the young girls and women now are getting more and more PCOS, not just from lifestyle, but invisible influence that's affected from the environment. The good news is we don't need to shift our environment and move to another planet where these pollutants will be disappearing anytime soon. We do have things to do in our own lifestyle which can reduce the risk of PCOS, and it comes back to the same 4. So that's why I love the 4 wheels which we spoke about, because the same inputs can help somebody with PCOS as well.
Okay, so is it like what I want to ask is, women are more likely to have diabetes because we have more hormonal issues, or?
No, that's not true. The women's risk of type 2 diabetes comes into competition with men after menopause, because the insulin resistance in women tends to rise after they lose their female fertility hormones and they go through menopause. That's when their cardiac risk and their other metabolic risk comes on par, because they had estrogen protecting them during their younger years, and it's after menopause that they lose the protection of estrogen, and you can see more tendency for insulin resistance.
So there's a person who has his grandfather, his father having history of diabetes. This person in his 20s or early 30s can reverse or can avoid diabetes.
True. They follow a low carb lifestyle, 80 to 100 grams of carb a day, keep protein at about 1.2 grams of protein per kg per day, sleep 7 hours, try not to take the world's stress on your shoulders, build muscle. Push each muscle group to fail twice a week. This should be enough to prevent type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
That sounds music to a lot of people, trust me.
I hope so.
Yeah. Thank you so much, doctor. It was so like mind awakening. Like I was like a student today, and you were a teacher, and you taught us so many things and taught our audience and give us so much of value. And I'm sure we were able to create some value and give that share that knowledge with our audience too. Last advice, any sort of advice you want to give to our audience and your audience too before we close this?
Yes, I hope that you all have learned something, how to take more care of yourself. My mission is to awaken more and more people to how to change your lifestyle habits and remain on the track of health, not just physical health, mental and spiritual health as well. And spread that message in your life. Take it forward.
Thank you so much, doctor. It was so nice to
This
have
Diabetes
you.
101, it's a very good episode. I mean, I personally learned myself because
Yeah.
what my father gone through, I might not have the right words, but today you actually put that on
The
the
sign.
four wheels things. And now when I look back, now I have a more logical explanation on how my
Yeah.
father reversed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
He didn't have a teacher like you, but I'm glad that you are there
Yeah.
around and
Thank
a lot
you.
of people will get benefit from.
Thank you for watching Raw Reflection. Please like and subscribe to our channel and this video and share to more and more audience if you like what we shared. Also, after this podcast, you can check the description below. We will link everything about the Dr. Roshni, her book, her app, everything will be linked below. If you have any questions, you can comment below and ask more about. And guys, there is an exciting news. There would be a code and you can avail some amazing discount on Dr. Roshni's course. So go and subscribe to her course and get this amazing discount and learn more about diabetes and be healthy.